Warm welcome and thank you for joining us on this particular episode. We're here to have the discussions about the reports that are getting to us today in the studio. We have conversations about CBN finally lifting the ban on Forex access for importation of food items. We also have His Excellency P2B as he commends Alex Otti for flagging off strategic 30.1 kilometers of road that has been abandoned for over 40 years. Proceeding, we also have the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Abbas Tajuddin, who has assured Tinubu that whatever bill that is brought by him to the National Assembly will be passed without respite. And we also have that the federal government has begun distribution of grains in Ibadan in a bid to actually alleviate the sufferings of the masses. Well, now let us go to the conversations of today. Well, CBN has finally lifted the ban on Forex importation of important food items. The Central Bank of Nigeria has lifted the restriction on foreign exchange access for the importation of milk and other dairy products. Zenith Bank notified its customers that it could now fund eligible requests for dairy products and imports. The Apex Bank has also lifted the ban on Forex access to about 43 items that Nigerians can now import into the country. And this is a very interesting one, even though it begs to actually answer the question, how much of this is necessary, because we're trying to actually increase production, local production, so as to sort the issue of food insecurity, and now they are lifting the ban on dairy products. Well, it is a step in the right direction, but at the same time, the same energy should be put in place to ensure that local production is actually fostered, so that we will not just rely solely on importation, but also on the products that Nigerians are actually made by themselves. So by made in Nigeria, so as to strengthen the economy and make Nigeria. Well, moving on, P2B has actually commenced, or rather commended Alex Otti, the governor of Abia State, to actually tell him that, you know what, he has done well in actually constructing and flagging off this strategic, road. Well, in his tweet, he said, and I quote, that in continuation of his commitment to the infrastructural development of Abia State, the Abia State Governor, Dr. Alex Otti, yesterday flagged off a strategic 30.1 kilometer of road. That's the Arochukwu Ndi Okeweke Uzwabam Road, this road that has been abandoned for about 40 years. He proceeded to say that it is easy to imagine what had become of the communities in the area over these years concerning their contributions to the economic growth of the state. I could feel the impact of this road project on these communities, as it is in resemblance to the first road project, which I flagged off as the governor of Anambra State in 2006, the Anakwomo Ibaku Ifitel Gwari Umweje Masi Road, that was 39 kilometers long. He also proceeded to actually say that no road had earlier existed in these communities, and they were some of the major food producing areas in the state. What Governor Otti is doing, for me, is what governance should be all about, which is investing in strategic infrastructure that will positively impact the socio-economic development of society and the ultimate well-being of the people. Anyways, the totality of this tweet is going to be on his X handle, and if you're trying to actually figure out or see the remaining parts of the tweet, you should go to His Excellency P2B's Twitter handle, X, and also check and see what it is he is saying. But we commend our own Dr. Alex Otti, because since he assumed the office and the leadership of Abia State, he has actually taken Abia State to greater heights, and it has been from one project to another, and he has flagged up development projects to the good of Abians, and we applaud him. And we also, that shows us what governance is all about. And if we put leaders who are after the economic development and social development of a people, instead of tribalism and people who are actually just there to enrich their pockets, these are the news that we are going to see. Anyways, moving on, we have the Speaker, Honorable Speaker of the House of Representatives, in the person of Tajuddin Abbas, who actually spoke to newsmen and actually assured His Excellency Chief Tinubu that whatever bill he brings to the National Assembly is going to be passed with an ease. The Speaker made this announcement. He said that the bill, whatever bill President Bola Tinubu's administration brings to the National Assembly will be passed. He made this known while speaking during a dinner hosted by the president for over 60 members of the House of Representatives to break the Ramadan fast. The speaker recalled that the recent bills that came from the presidency were treated expeditiously in the House, and he affirmed that what they did was not far from a miracle, noting that the delivery of a bill within 48 hours is not an easy task. Well, this was what he said. According to him, he said this was done because the lawmakers respected the president. Well, that is nice to say. I guess it is in solidarity to the APC-led government, and also telling him that, you know what, we respect you and we respect your wishes. But at the same time, it should not just be about, you know, making sure that the president is happy, but they should actually look into these bills that are brought from the presidency to make sure that they reveal and they reflect the common will of the people, because they were not sent to the House of Reps to actually just, you know, do stuff that is going to be pleasing to the APC-led government or to Chief Bola Tinubu. We should make sure that these representatives actually represent these people who put them in offices. Well, let's just actually take a soundbite from what he actually said, and so we can hear from his mouth.
Continue to strive in ensuring that we operate as one, the executive and the legislature together. We want to ensure that whatever you bring will see the light of the day, both in the House of Representatives and in the Senate. You can see an example of the acid taste of members' support and solidarity. Just within the last 3-4 days, about 3 bills came from the presidency, and they were all expected to be treated expeditiously. And the House and the Senate do not relent to excellency in ensuring that we deliver a miracle, because what we did is just short of being called a miracle. Delivering bills within 48 hours is not an easy task, but that is exactly what the National Assembly did because of the sheer respect it has on you. So this is what we want to continue. This is what we want to sustain in the months and years to come.
We've heard from his speaker, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, in the person of Abbas Tajuddin, right? And we understand he was in good spirits when he spoke to newsmen and spoke to His Excellency Chief Bola Ahmed Tinubu, right? But like I rightly said, that it is beyond just making sure that the president is happy, but also that the people that they represent and the people who had elected them and put them in such offices are actually properly represented, and to make sure that these bills do not come in the detriment of these people, because it is beyond just making sure that the president is happy. And this is not time to play politics or make it, you know, try to buy favors doing, oh, you know what, we'll make sure that whatever bill you bring is actually good. We should make sure that it represents the collective good of the people and the people of Nigeria at large. Well, speaking of, the federal government has actually begun distribution of grains in Ibadan in a bid to actually curb the effects of the ravaging hunger and the economic hardship that is in the Nigerian climate currently. This is coming on the heels of the federal government saying that they have 42 metric tons of grains that are being released. And it's just very interesting to see, because we've heard of Niger and now it is Ibadan, and we have 36 states in the federation, and this is just 2 that have been accounted for. So we need to know that this is not just some scheme that is going to go to a selected few states. We need to make sure it goes to the totality of Nigerians, because every Nigerian is hit by this hardship, both the rich and the poor, and even the supposed middle class, because currently I don't think there is a middle class, because with the current hardship that the Nigerians are faced with, there is an annihilation of the middle class, and I don't think that actually exists. But that's besides the point. Let's actually take a sound bite from what's going on in Ibadan, and then I'll come back and share other of my thoughts.
Tempers had recently reached boiling point, leading to a series of nationwide protests over the rising costs of food and other essentials that had made life unbearable for most Nigerians. As the day continues to go by, more Nigerians continue to fall into poverty, with many more being exposed to untold hardship, while the government appears to be helpless in containing rising inflation. This program, organized by the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, is a strategic attempt at providing food items to residents of Ibadan at a time when government and legislators are keeping sealed lips as to the actual amount released for the provision of palliatives to citizens.
I mentioned last time that federal government gave us support of about 100 million naira worth of palliative. There is no dispute about that. Every one of us was giving, and we are all doing everything within our reach to complement the effort of the federal government in that direction. Letter of award have been given, contractors have been assigned, jobs have been directed to be executed. Those who have executed, they are already testifying the job has been executed. Those who have not been able to do it, they are still making efforts in getting that done.
A cross-section of Nigerians spoke with Arise News, say legislators, both at the upper and lower legislative chambers, have not done enough to empower Nigerians, while calling on the federal government to put them on their toes, including ministers in the government too.
If we look at the historical background of Nigeria, one, selfishness is the cause of all this. What is meant for people, some people are cornering it. Some people, when they are asked to make sure they give certain things to people, instead of doing that, they go to the backyard to share the things among themselves, only to go and tell lies to those who gave them. Therefore, we are insisting that the initiative being carried out today and by Engineer Remi Oseni should be emulated by all those in the two houses, both at the House of Representatives and the Senate.
But federal government should mandate all the senators, honorable, to go to their grassroots to meet the need of the people. And not only that, in the local government, they should release the money to all the local government and follow up so that the poverty at the local government can be alleviated.
Because they take the system from communities. So from community, if it's not from political distance, if whatever I want to do is to start from communities, from that, everything will be circulated and people will be smiling.
The event also featured the presentation of earth-moving equipment to fast-track developmental initiatives across various local governments in Oyo State.
Oh, that's from the people of Ibadan, and these are the recipients of these grains that the federal government, through the Ministry of Agriculture, distributed to the residents of Ibadan to curb the hunger. But we applaud them for this initiative, but at the same time, the question is to when would this sustain them? Because we know that there's hunger ravaging the land, and the Nigerian government needs to go back to the drawing board to actually come back and discuss ways to make sure that, you know, this hunger does not come back and it is not a prevalent situation in the country. It goes beyond just sharing palliatives. Nigeria is too big of a country to be run on palliatives. We need sustainable practices that can actually lead to poverty alleviation and actually make sure that the fortunes of the Nigerian populace are turned for the better. Well, in the spirit of distribution, we have that Governor of Borno State, Governor Zulum, has proceeded to gift 50,000 naira cash and bags of 50 kg rice each to over 4,500 members of the civilian joint task force fighting Boko Haram terrorists in Maiduguri and Jere local government areas of Borno State. He also proceeded to actually gift 1,000 hunters and members of this civilian task force 30,000 naira cash and a bag of 50 kg rice. Well, this is an interesting one because, I mean, everybody and all hands are actually on deck to see that this hunger that's ravaging the land actually comes to a halt. But it goes beyond just palliatives. Like I said, these are stuffs that can actually end in at most 1 month, right? Because I mean, it's not like they're going to get any other things other than this rice. It is a welcome initiative. It shows that maybe at some point they get to hear, or rather they get to see that the people are suffering and try their best to actually alleviate their fortunes. But like I said, the emphasis has to go, like our president, our principal, His Excellency Peter Obi usually says, it has to go beyond consumption. We have to move from consumption to production and make sure that we actually produce more than we consume, so as to, you know, raise up the dwindling fortunes of our country. And having said that, we need to go beyond just giving out handouts to these people. It is a welcome initiative, like I said, but we need to go beyond palliatives and actually have sustainable plans and sustainable motions to be put in place to make sure there is no reoccurrence of this situation. So kudos to the government, and we hope that this grain and this distribution, every other governor actually takes the lead to make sure that their states are actually beneficiaries of this benevolence. And so moving on, we have the situation in Okama. We've had it everywhere in the media for over days, right? We've had situations, people have come out. We've heard from different parties, both the Nigerian military, and we've also heard from the residents of the Okama community. We know that it was raised down by the Nigerian military after 16 people were actually killed in an ambush. And we also heard from the Okama residents that we have over 50 casualties, and that the killing was in retaliation to the attack launched by the Nigerian military. Well, we take no prisoners. We condemn in its entirety the totality of every form of violence, and we do not condone such. And we also condole with the families of the fallen Nigerian heroes who have lost their lives. But in the wake of these incidents in the southern part of the country, we've had different stories and different versions of people saying what they think it is that transpired. We've heard from elder statesman J.P. Clark. We've also heard from residents of the Okama community. And today we have a new eye-opener from a leader of sorts of the Niger Delta, a former editor-in-chief of the Guardian newspaper, who came out to say and share his thoughts concerning what he thought was the motivation behind the killings and the massacre in Okama. Let's actually pay a listen to what he said.
Cannot be entirely a judge in his own court that the military should allow others onto the crime scene. Even the governor could not access it. The commissioner of police lamented yesterday. It's not done that way. It's unfortunate it has happened. But to get to the root of it, the military may have to step back. The place cannot remain a perpetual operational area. No, I think they have done enough operation. And let them step back so that people can go there, investigation properly done, and then the root of the matter is reached. Going to recommendations, you will agree that these are just symptomatic of the fault lines of the Nigerian state. It's going to continue if nothing is done drastically to address the structure, the conditions that make this possible. Take, for instance, 16 military men. Out of the 16 military men, you have how many officers? You have a lieutenant colonel, you have 2 majors, you have a captain. Then before you talk of the rank and file. This, by every definition, is the strategic team of that Bomadi battalion. It's not the tactical team. And so what was actually compelling about a peace mission in that place, that we require the strategic team going for a tactical mission. So it shows that there are so many things underlying that we are not talking about. That if it were actually for a peace mission, wouldn't it be better? Wouldn't it have been better for those community leaders to be summoned to the base in Bomadi for discussions to be held? This was not done. Instead, the entire leadership of the battalion went to Bomadi and be so exposed. And if a mission like that is being carried by the strategic team, why was there no enough tactical cover that they were just gotten and taken out like that so cheaply, the Nigerian military? That is uncalled for. So you will see that there are so many things that are wrong. The Niger Delta today is a big crime scene. What matters in the Niger Delta is oil. And everything is subordinated to oil. And so even the lives of the people, their livelihoods, subordinated to oil. And so the mandate is that go and get the oil out at all of these have to be addressed. If they are not addressed, nothing is going to happen. And the place is under siege. The psychological pressure on the place. Take, for instance, if you are traveling from Warri to Port Harcourt, you will encounter more than 200 roadblocks. So the people are harassed on a daily basis. And it is for nothing but to say that oil must flow at all costs. So if we are addressing all of this, it must be made clear that Niger Delta has to be opened up in development. If we are opened up in development, I don't think we will need so much of military presence for the oil to flow. Right now, every military officer wants to work in the Niger Delta because we know what is involved. Underlying all of this is the issue of bunkering, and it's something that we are not bringing to the fore. But it's so unfortunate because if it is not addressed, it is going to happen again. And we will come back to saying the same things, that, oh, we ought to have done this. Who did this? And then the military will move in again in their normal way.
We have very valid points that were raised by this elder statesman. He raised the issue of, oil being the major motivation concerning these attacks in Okama community. And like we said, we condemn in its entirety every form of bloodshed. Like if there is an oil in dispute, right, the federal government and the leadership of the Okama community would have handled it better and had a way to, arrive at a favorable conclusion for both parties and, just foster growth and development in that region rather than bloodshed. We know that this is not right, and this is something that should have been handled better to actually safeguard the lives and property of Nigerians. Well, this coming to the end of this, our time don't they give us signal for here, like my boss would say. And anyways, we want to also say you should not forget the Obidient Cooperative Society. The link is going to be on the description of this video, and so you can follow this link and join the WhatsApp platform and actually meet up and converse with fellow Obedients and well-meaning Nigerians who actually have the interest of Nigeria at heart. And like our principal said, it is time to move from consumption to production, and it is in a bid to move from consumption to production that we have set up this facility and this cooperative to be able to offer solution to the hunger plaguing Nigerians. And we will be offering seedlings to farmers and basically to just every agro-allied business, and make sure that we are actually no longer dependent on the federal government, and to be able to prepare ourselves for 2027, where we'll be able to redefine our options. So follow the link in the description box and join this humble society, as we're able to actually structure and actually have conversations about how to move Nigeria and even the Obidient family worldwide. Well, thank you for joining us on this episode. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, because that is all it is you can do for us as an Obidient, to be able to broadcast this good news and actually tell them that a new Nigeria is very, very much possible. So we'll come your way tomorrow. I am Divine Dawns, and let's get back to the video.
In search of corporates. This community we're talking about, they are rural communities, almost like fish settlements that expanded to their community. We're talking of a community of maybe less than 1,000 people. They are afraid. They won't even want to come out to speak. Because what is in their head is that wherever you are found, you will be taken by the military. And so a lot of them are even running away from coming out to say anything. Just the leaders, by way of maybe the king of the area and other community leaders that are talking on their behalf. As we talk, there is nobody, no life there in the community. It has been taken completely over. And the soldiers will not even allow independent people to enter, to know, to have an assessment, on the ground assessment of what actually happened and what is happening now. Everything is, like the commissioner was saying yesterday, that everything is by signals from his men on ground and DPO and all of that. Why should the military? They are the ones accusing. They want to prosecute. They want to also adjudicate. It doesn't happen that way now. What jurisprudence allows that? And so, if we want to get to the bottom of this, this community, these are real ordinary people, ordinary folks. They don't even have the confidence to come out to say, oh, this is what has happened. A lot of them call. They call to say. And the story is that, oh, we have so many people killed, and we don't even have the evidence of those that have been killed, because nobody can even access the place to know what is happening. All of us, we are in the bush. Some of us have run away, and so many have been killed. That is the story we are hearing. And nobody can get into that place to make a confirmation, to know whether it is true or not. Didn't the military deny that the place was not raised? So how will you now confirm that the place was raised or not raised? Is it not by visiting the place? And nobody can get there. Not even the governor of the state, who is the chief security officer of the state. You see, these are the fault lines of the Nigerian state we're talking about. The military is acting as if it is a sovereignty. No. It's subordinate to civil authority. If the president has said there should be investigation, who are those to do the investigation? The secret police is there. The normal police is there. So can't they collaborate, even if it is going to be a joint effort? Can't they collaborate with other security agencies so that we get the objective perspective? But now we just running with a single narrative. It is not proper. It is not proper. And now every other person is saying, no, the corporates must come out, the youths of, making it look like there are some people hidden in that community that must be brought out at all costs. If that level of crime has taken place, are you sure that the people that really perpetrated it will still be there, waiting to be arrested? The answer is no. Nobody has been able to give the exact circumstances under which those gallant officers were taken down.
What happened in Ethiopia? Their biggest bank, the Commercial Bank of Ethiopia, had a glitch in their system that allowed people to withdraw unlimited funds. Unlimited amount of money. I'm like, that is to say any amount that you press in the ATM would come out. Then people were withdrawing money that they did not have in their bank account. They started calling each other, telling everybody, there is free money. Some people were transferring money that does not even exist in their bank account. And it was going through. Students especially, on different campuses, they lined up to abuse the ATM of that particular bank. And before the bank could fix this glitch that same day, Ethiopians had withdrawn more than 40 million US dollars. Oh, how? Like, seriously, how? Nobody, you be that? Or is that a miracle? And you know, the bank insisted that hackers did not tamper with their system, that this just happened. I said, why? Why is it that things like this don't just happen in Nigeria, especially during this time of economic hardship, or even in America where we have to pay bills every month, bills upon bills? But wait a minute, Ethiopians, move closer. You guys had the opportunity to withdraw an unlimited amount of money for several hours, and in the entire country, you only withdrew $40 million. You guys, no, you guys are slow. I'm sorry to say, but you guys are slow. Trust Nigerians, hey? That bank will never get back on its feet. Benny, along the rise in Nigeria. I'm just saying, at least $500 million. Even $1 billion go. Now, jokes aside, it's actually a very, very sad something, you know, and our heart goes out to the bank in Ethiopia. And I'm not encouraging taking money that is not yours, so I beg. As it is, the schools are urging their students to please give back the money. If you were in their shoes, would you? Also, the bank itself is urging citizens to please return their money.
Abia revealed that a significant portion of the withdrawal cash was accessed by students that led to long queues at campus ATMs. Multiple universities have urged students to return any excess funds they received. The bank has made reassurances that those who return the money will not face any legal consequence. In fact, in a statement shared on X, the Commercial Bank of Ethiopia acknowledged the service disruption but dismissed claims of a cyber attack.
Can you imagine being the CEO of such a bank? Hopefully, some of the bank workers did not also take advantage or call their family members to take advantage of this. Hopefully. Very, very unfortunate something, you know. I can see some people already giving testimony in church. Oh, Papa, miracle money. I had 2,000 in my account, but by faith, I typed 200,000 and guess what? It came out. Amen, somebody, amen. But really, who's at fault? Is it the people that withdrew money or the bank that made the money available? Or would you say that the people committed a crime? Would you say it was free money and answer to people's prayers? Or would you say that it's stolen money? Because technically the bank was the one that provided unlimited funds. In any case, let me be clear. All I'm trying to say is that Ethiopians should please return the money, you know, because they will eventually trace every penny. No, so I mean, they will still trace the money to you. The bank should be able to trace the money, right? Kaido, move closer. I beg, turn off the camera. We're going to Ethiopia. What do you mean for what? They said the thing just happened. Don't you know it may just happen again? Sit down there. We are not going to steal money. We are going to cover the stealing of the money. We are going to cover the events. You are too slow.